Here's a few things you really need to remember whenever you're smoking a brisket for 24 hours. Number one, and this is the most important thing I can tell you, make sure you keep the temperature low. Psst, 225 degrees. Needs to be on average about 225 degrees. Keep the temperature low. If you go really excessive for an extremely long period of time, or even for say 30 minutes, you're going to end up causing your meat to be way overcooked. It's going to dry out and it's not going to be good. As you can tell from all the video that I took, whenever I cut into it, there was actual puddles of juice coming out. Beautiful amounts of juice, and that's exactly what you want. You don't want it to have it dry. You don't want to have it to lose all of that flavoring, because then the meat's going to be tough and it's not going to be pleasurable. Number two, you're smoking, so there's going to be a lot of smoke. Just realize that. If you're in an apartment complex, obviously I don't recommend doing this. If you're in an area where there's a fire ban, then you definitely don't want to do it. Regardless of what time of year you do it, if you have grass around your area like I do, just make sure you keep it wet. Real simple, real easy. It will prevent any type of fires. And each time I went out, I threw some more water on the ground. I'd rather waste a little bit of water than have any type of problems with fires in my neighborhood. My neighbors wouldn't exactly like me for that. Next point, make sure that you keep the meat exposed the entire time. It may sound crazy, but you're going to get so much smoke flavor down inside the meat. You're going to love it if you enjoy that type of thing. And obviously, we do. And that's how come I'm making this video. It's very important that you keep it exposed. If you go and close up the meat, you're going to start steaming it. If you go and put it inside your oven at the house, first of all, your house is going to smell really powerful of the smoke flavor. So be very careful on that. But if you do it, you're going to lose all of that beautiful smoke that would have been infused in it with put in the oven. Blech. You don't want to do that. Enjoy the meat, enjoy the smoke, smoke it straight for at least 24 hours. It's going to taste awesome. Make sure that you put a little container underneath it. Either you can get aluminum pan or do aluminum foil the way that I did earlier, or you can put a cast iron pan down as well. That will help keep all the juices around the meat and help make sure that the meat doesn't dry out. Now again, with about 6 hours or so left, whenever you flip the meat over, you are going to want to drain off some of those juices, because there's going to be a whole lot of juices in there, and draining them off will make sure that you get the smoke and char flavor all the way around the meat, which is exactly what we're looking for here. Remember, you're dedicated to this for 24 hours, so don't plan any type of outings or things that are going to take you away from the fire and the brisket for any extended period of time. Whenever you go to sleep, and we all have to at some point, just make sure that you put a fairly large log on there and some type of branches to go along with it. And what this is going to do is it's going to help the smoke stay there all night long. And you have to add something else with the large log. If you put in just the large log, it will burn itself out within just a couple of short hours. So make sure that you stick some additional wood in there to actually help keep that large log going. If you're worried about chemicals, don't use any type of lighter fluid. Use a natural charcoal and use some newspaper. As usual with meat, you don't want to just start cutting into it. Bring it inside, put it on a platter, let it sit for a little bit. Some people like to cover it, some people don't. That really is up to you on what you want to do. But the main thing is you actually have to let the meat sit. If you start cutting into it, it's going to immediately have all the juices come running out of it. Nothing's going to get soaked back into it and permeate through the meat, and you're going to dry it out actually with making that one fatal mistake. So make sure that you don't do that. Whenever you're trimming the brisket, first of all, make sure you have a sharp knife. Unlike mine, it wasn't very sharp. And whenever you trim, try to go against the grain if you can. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow for the meat to taste better. It's going to be less chewy, and will end up tasting more succulent that way. Whenever you're doing the actual pulling of the pulled brisket, leave as much fat behind as possible, because you're already going to have enough fat in that section. Even if you love fat, still pull it and leave as much fat behind as possible, because again, there's going to be so much fat already in that section of the brisket that you really don't need to add anything else. So what you do then is, after you get all that pulled beef all pulled aside, you take your favorite barbecue sauce, mix it in with it, get the whole thing completely coated, and then you throw it on a hamburger bun, and oh wow, is it really, really good. Last but not least, it's time to enjoy some brisket. Take some of it, throw it on a plate, grab your favorite barbecue sauce, and go to town. Any type of leftovers that you have, if you have any, just throw them inside a sealed container or a Ziploc baggie and put it inside your refrigerator. It lasts about 2 weeks. It actually warms up very well, just about 45 seconds in the microwave, depending on how warm you like your brisket. You can also add some of it to your morning breakfast, add some of it to different dishes where it calls for meat, add a very distinctive flavor. I think you'll probably enjoy it. So that's how you do brisket, my style. 24-hour smoke, succulent taste, and trust me, by the time you're done, you're going to be exhausted, but it's going to be well worth it. So, I'm out. Appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments below. Hey, you know what? It's not beneath me. Subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Alright, I'm going to sleep now. Night.